episode 10 of Trev's Hockey Show here on Trev TV. You thought I was wearing the same jersey again, didn't you? Fortunately, after this, I have one jersey I haven't worn on video yet, and that one's going to be painful. Painful. No, it's not an Oilers jersey. It's worse. But anyway, I'm the Trev. Y'all know that. If you're tuning in, if you're watching, that's too sweet. Anyway, this is my second video done on a tablet. As you can tell by all the excess of stuff that I've got in the range of the camera. This is from Home Opener, by the way, which they lost 2015-16 Home Opener, which they lost to Red Deer in overtime. Seems I seem to catch more Oil Kings losses than wins. Figure that one out. Anyway, I meant to put out this episode sooner in the week, but, you know, life happens, guy gets busy, and he can't do all the things he wants to do. But, so my review, I guess, so much of the 2018 Hall of Fame inductees. This would be a fun one. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's a little bit late, but I still wanted to get my reaction and my opinion on as far as who's going in, the pros and cons, if there is any. Yeah. But in the meantime and in between time, since it is Saturday and Free Agency Day is tomorrow, which means I'll probably have another episode in a couple days, let's talk about the week that's come and gone leading up to Free Agency Day. So with me on this episode, as always in episodes like this, is the NHL app. They're talking about Tavares and what his decision is. Hopefully it's not some long drawn out thing that's going to take a while, but I guess we'll know as soon as tonight whether he's made up his mind if he's staying in New York or not. But we've already got some rumor, kind of confirmation into free agencies, that free agents that have already signed or going to sign or have re-signed. Starting with John Carlson, of course, in Washington, re-signing for 8 more years. Sweet. Ilya Kovalchuk is going to LA for 3 years. I'm excited. I told you he was coming back. I'm just excited to see what he does. I mean, 5 years away from the NHL, playing a bigger game. I can't see too many negatives in that, but, it is a different game altogether between KHL hockey and NHL hockey, but see when he gets there, I guess. JT Miller re-signed in Tampa for 5 years. It's good for them. Brian Rust re-signed for 4 years in Pittsburgh. Poor Pittsburgh. They have all these guys that can play really well with their superstars, but as soon as they go elsewhere, or as soon as they know that, hey, it's not really going to go well for me, and I'm nothing without my talent. And that's the case here. He's only re-signed because he's good playing with the superstars. And Devontae Smith-Pelly re-signed for Washington for a year in Washington. But that's sweet. As for more extensions, Drew Doughty re-signed for 8 years in LA. It's good for both sides, I think. Or at least he's going to be confirmed as re-signing, that is. Logan Couture is going to re-sign for another 8 years in San Jose. That's good for both parties, again. Mike Green is supposed to re-sign in Detroit for 2 years. I can't stand Mike Green. I never could. I don't make these decisions. That's up to them, not to me. And Jack Johnson is going to sign in Pittsburgh for 4 years. 4 years or 5 years, 1 or 2. Yeah, throw him on line with Justin Schultz and keep his parents away from his money. I hope that's long past him, but I guess we'll never know until anything comes out about it, right? So when we left off after draft day, there was not much to speak of. Round 2 wasn't any different. I mean, you had one major trade, and then you had 11 more pick-for-pick trades. So, very unproductive draft this year, as far as trades were concerned. But you did see Noah Hannafin and Elias Lindholm go to Calgary from Carolina for Doug Hamilton, Michael Furland, and Andrew Fox. I hope Calgary can re-sign Hannafin and or Lindstrom, because they're both restricted free agents. Hopefully they can do it. We'll see. We'll see. That's a Calgary thing that they have to worry about, not me. There's another one where Pittsburgh and Buffalo. Pittsburgh traded Connor Sheary, Matt Hunwick to Buffalo for a conditional 4th rounder, which could turn into a 3rd rounder in the 2019 draft. So they're already trading picks. I think a lot of teams trade picks very frequently, very often. And then as I'm recording this, there was one today. Saw Winnipeg send Steve Mason and Joe Armia to Montreal for Simon Bourque. I think that's a cap dump. Probably just to re-sign Stastny, if he'll re-sign with Winnipeg and not go back to St. Louis. That's what I think on that one. And that's pretty much been the trades in the last couple days. To the Hall of Fame inductees. The whole point of why I wanted to do this video. Start with Martin Brodeur. Obviously a no-brainer. I mean, there was no way he wasn't getting in on his first ballot. Notes. That's why I'm looking down so much, because I'm just reading my notes. From 92 to 2015, spent lots of time in New Jersey and was briefly playing for St. Louis. All-time leader in wins with 691, all-time leader in shutouts with 125. So, yeah, based on those two. 3 Stanley Cups, 4 Vezinas, a Calder, 5 William Jennings trophies. It's not a bad silverware collection. Made the all-rookie team, played in 9 All-Star games, was a 3-time first-team All-Star and a 4-time second-team All-Star. To go with his Olympic gold in 2004 and his World Cup and 2 silvers in the IIHF World Championships. So, in the NHL, in the international stage, yeah, he did pretty good. Made a nice career for himself there. Like I said, no-brainer. There was no reason he wasn't getting in. Moving on to Martin St. Louis. This one was kind of a surprise to me. Like, sure, he belongs in there. No doubt about that, but so soon? Especially on first ballot? You didn't think of guys like Daniel Alfredson? But we'll get to that later. From 1999 to 2015, played for the Flames, the Lightning, and the Rangers. Got 391 goals, 642 assists for a grand total of 1,033 points. So, 1,000-point guy for a guy who was only 5'6". There are other smaller guys who aren't in the Hall that put up good numbers, but they'll probably never get in there. I'm talking Fleury, by the way. 2 Art Ross trophies, an NHL Plus-Minus award, if you remember when they were handing those out. A Lester B. Pearson Award, which is now the Ted Lindsay Award, if you know your trophy history. Hart Trophy, a Stanley Cup, and 3 Lady Bings. Okay, that's impressive. That's impressive. Played in 6 All-Star games. Was a first-team All-Star once. I was a 4-time second All-Star team. Okay, I get it. Page 2 of my notes. Moving on to Jana Hefford, who's the women's hockey inductee from 96 to 2014. So she had a nice little career in women's hockey. There's 2 women's hockey leagues I can think of. I think she was in the CWHL, but I think she's more or less inducted for her international accolades, which have 4 Olympic gold medals and 7 IIHF World Women's Championships. So that's pretty awesome. And a 4 Nations Cup winner. She was a CWHL MVP, CWHL top forward, a first All-Star team, and a Central All-Star. So she did pretty good. Moving over to Alexander Yakashev, just their international pick. I'm glad they're at least throwing more Russians in. They belong there. Internationally, you can't not have no Russians. They were too dominant. But he didn't have much of a playing career. He's more known for being a coach, but he did play in the 72 Summit Series. He did play in the Olympics, winning 2 Olympic golds. He was a 2-time IIHF All-Star, a best scorer, and a best forward. And that's just the IIHF awards. As for the USSR awards, he was the best scorer in points, a 3-time best scorer in goals, a 2-time best line, and an All-Star. So, pretty good, impressive career in Russia. I mean, so he did play in the 72 Summit Series. I think he was more overshadowed by Kharlamov, but a lot of guys were. Moving on to Willie O'Ree in the builder category. Had a career from 57 to 79, and that was mostly in the Western Hockey League. But he did play 45 games with the Bruins, scoring 4 goals and 10 assists for 14 points. Now, as a player, those kind of stats won't get you in the Hall, but being the fact that you broke the white and black color barrier will. Long overdue. Long overdue. Why they didn't induct him sooner, I'll never know. It's not up to me to decide the Hall of Fame inductions, peoples, anything like that, so I can't answer that for myself, but why it took them so long, I'll never know. We'll end the inductees with everybody's favorite person in hockey, Gary B. Bettman, who was inducted in the builder category. Now, as the president of the NHL, commissioner, presidents were before him. He's been commissioner of the NHL for 25 years, actively. He's got in February 1st, 93, and he's still going strong. Now, a lot of people will do the whole pros and cons and whatever else on him. So I wrote out some pros and cons, not counting TV deals, because I mean he's made some bad TV deals, but lately he's made some really great TV deals for the Canadian and United States markets. So, if you want to think of TV revenue, there's a good place to start. Since he's come into office, there have been some teams that have moved and some teams that have expanded, meaning he's expanded into a lot of unknown markets, such as Florida. Well, I mean, they were already in Tampa, but he went to Miami. They had a team in Anaheim, who was actually owned by Walt Disney. That's why they were the Mighty Ducks. Nashville, went back to Atlanta, Columbus, back to Minnesota, and to Vegas. So he's oversaw 7 new teams. At the same time, he saw 5 teams move. Obviously, the Minnesota North Stars went to Dallas. The Quebec Nordiques went to Colorado. Winnipeg Jets went into Phoenix and are now the Arizona Coyotes. Hartford Whalers went to Carolina. And the Atlanta Thrashers, who we just mentioned, went to Winnipeg. So, for everybody who's doing the math on this, the Canadians have only lost 2 teams. The Americans have lost 3. So throw your anti-Canadian agenda out the window. Since he's been in office, yes, he's seen 3 lockouts. 1 wiped out an entire season. But you can also look at the revenue he's made since he's been in office. He took a $400 million company and made it into a $3 billion company in 25 years. And that's just some of the examples, some of the pros and cons of what anybody else will say as to why Bettman shouldn't be in the Hall. But, I mean, if you've already inducted guys like Frank Calder, Red Dutton, Clarence Campbell, and John Ziegler, you can induct Gary Bettman. I think it's too soon, but you can't stop the inevitable. I mean, whether it was this year, 5 years, or 10 years down the road, he was getting in regardless. I'm in the minority, obviously, that thinks sure he belongs in the Hall for what he's done for the game. You know, compared to how it was when he took it over, it's been a major improvement for the NHL, and they have nobody but Bettman to thank. So that was my Hall of Fame inductees review here on Trev's Hockey Talk. I want to thank you for tuning in. Your viewership always means so much to me. Always has, always will. You can find me on Facebook at Trev's TV. You can find me on Instagram at rockstartrev TV. Like this video if you liked it. Hit subscribe on the way out if you want to. Tell a friend, hey, this Trev TV show is getting pretty good. I mean, this is my 2nd video with a tablet. That's why everything looks so much bigger. That's why I'm moving around a little more. And that's why I have the start of a backdrop or a prop idea or something. I don't know. I'm still working on that. But in the meantime and in between time, keep on the lookout for more videos from the Trev. Later.